Hello folks, and welcome to a quick update video here in Starbound. And I just noticed something very depressing, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Unfortunately, I was a bit slow in getting to this update video, and so several things that I wanted to show you as to how cool they were have been wiped by a new update, which did add some very awesome things, which again I will get to in just a little bit. Previously, I had my entire ship decked out with different background, different lighting, and was completely stacked with chests full of very useful stuff. Unfortunately, most of that is gone, and so I'm short on supplies now. A decent amount of metals and things, but less than I would have had otherwise. Thankfully, most of my important gear I did keep on myself, so that is helpful. I was also going to start this video with a fun little musical interlude using the awesome electric bass and clarinet I have. They have the song from 2001: A Space Odyssey in here, and I thought that would have been kind of a fun way to open up this video. But unfortunately, they fixed the way the music works a little bit, so it's a bit easier to pitch shift if you make your own music. And while that is good, it seems to have screwed up pre-update instruments, so I crashed the game trying to start recording that, so yeah, that's not gonna work for now. However, you could do it for yourself if you happen to find an instrument with the new characters. Good luck with that. I think before I talk too much about what I have found and what cool stuff has happened with my character here, who has the top tier armor. Actually, I'm very proud of that. It's pretty friggin' sweet. If I press, not see, that's crafting. Here you can see I have pretty amazing stats as far as those go. Looking through the patch logs, which you can go see if you go to the playstarbound.com link that I should have in the description here, they have basically added in things that are from mods people have made. And that's what's been really fun about following this along from the very beginning. They have their game, and they've been kind of spotlighting people's mods that have been fun or whatever, but they have actually contacted these people, helped them clean up their mods, added animations for the game, added texture work where needed, things like that, helped balance, and are adding mods to the game because it's not out yet. You can still totally add this stuff easily, might as well, right? And by doing so in a way where they say, we're adding this mod by this person, they're kind of circumventing the issue that Minecraft ran into, where it was, oh, we're going to add pistons. That's been a mod for a while, and I don't see any mention of those mod creators in the patch notes. Kind of got people a bit upset. Not so with this. People have been quite happy to see that these mods are getting in. Things like sky rails a la Bioshock Infinite are being added, as well as landable asteroid fields, which you can actually reach asteroids and similar floating belts and such things in this version of the game if you can fly up to them, but that is liable to get you killed, as they are so freezing cold that any warm clothing you have is not going to suffice for keeping you heated. But they are there and they are reachable. I forget, I think there was one other mod that was added, but I cannot recall what it is. And otherwise it was mostly balanced stuff, a few cool small features that are additions to what's already on there, things like that. So if you were interested, totally go check that out. If it's not on the site itself, check the Twitter page that is linked on the main site. He is one of the main developers. He very often posts the paste bin links that has all of their change notes on there. I believe now's a good time to start kind of showing off the stuff I found in my previous messings around with the previous version. I will try to link the, I will label this as the version it is now, even though all the content I have is technically from the version before. First and foremost, I have these really awesome grappling hooks, which do not work like the ones in Terraria at all. The ones in Terraria, if you have played that or recall, would basically drag you to them the instant it was grabbed a solid surface. Certain other ones would function a bit differently, like you'd have the ones that would work one at a time, you had the Ivy Whip, which would then drag you between them, that sort of thing. What these do is when you fire them, they hook to a location, and then if you press S or W, you can lengthen or shorten the rope that is attached to them, and by doing that you can drag yourself along with them. And it can lead to some pretty goofy things when you have one that's incredibly tightened and one that is not, because there's no way to do them separately, even though you can dual wield them. But they are certainly very fun, a little bit tricky to get the hang of, but useful for getting out of deep dungeons and things. So those are very cool. I also did go and find a gun. Easiest way to do these is to find the avian pirates, who, if you're ever wandering on a map and you happen to see a giant anchor on the floor, follow it up and it will lead you to a boat, and on that boat somebody up there will probably sell you guns. And guns have infinite ammo. What they do is they draw off of your energy pool there on the upper left, and depending on what kind of gun they are, they will draw a different amount and deal different amounts of damage and things. But this one happens to be, let's see here, 2,353 damage per second, 1,291 per shot. They did change the damage numbers and things since the very first videos I did, where they were sort of a weird flat number, and then they would have the armor penetration things. Now they just do DPS. Armor is a separate thing, and creatures just have generally different amounts of health instead of everything having 100. You can also get this type of thing where your weapon can attack very quickly, but it has different DPS. Now I'm not sure if the DPS actually takes the lightning jot into account. I've never been quite clear on that. I also discovered something that I think was added after my initial playthrough. The lantern on the stick item, which you can see is my back slot item, is actually personal light source that follows you around. That means you can delve deep into caves without having to use a flashlight as much. It's not really bright enough to help all that much, but it keeps your vision on your character, and that is super handy to have late at night, or in the caves, either way. There's no easy way to remove a grappling shot without changing your weapons. I also do have a drill here, which, as you can see, works quite well for removing things. This is the highest tier drill in the game, so it's fairly efficient. I also have, as I mentioned, my electric bass guitar, which I cannot actually use because it breaks things, as well as the brain extractor, which is kind of a fun little tool that insta-kills some low-level enemies and gives you a brain, either inferior or superior, and you can use that to build one of the game bosses. I was going... you know, I still might be able to. Well, let me plonk this crafting bench down I conveniently had on me, and see what it takes to build the distress beacon. Need some wood planks here. What wood do I have? Plenty. Okay, let's build the distress beacon real fast, and I can show you what would have happened if I had... Oh, wow. 7 short. If I had ever gotten around to actually doing that. I believe I intended to in my previous playthrough, and then went, I'm gonna cut this short, and didn't bother. But if I had built this thing, work the planet, it becomes an item which you set on the ground here. Where did it go? There it is. And this is a one-shot item. It can sit here and look pretty and look nice all you want, but as soon as you press E on it... Oh. Oh, I know what my problem is. Let me take that back here. And... Oh, apparently that planet got slightly different gravity. Variable gravity on planet surfaces was actually not implemented in the previous versions. It is implemented now, however. Do I have coal? Yes, I do. Alright. I should be, if I am correct in this. Yes, I have all of the different sectors available to me. I misinterpreted what I read in the initial playthrough as you cannot leave the planet group cluster you are on. You are simply stuck in this map until you defeat the first boss and get the item for that, which is not nearly as limiting as I thought it was. There's pretty much all you'd ever really need in this, but planets do progressively, get harder and full of more goodies as you go along. But let me head to just a random planet here, as I do not actually have a home planet, from an oversight on my part. And then we will get to work on this. Speaking of the home planet, previously if you set a home planet, you could fly off, and anytime you clicked the go home button, you would instantly go back to that planet, assuming you had the requisite amount of fuel. Now, that is still the case, but if you use the teleport pad, as you saw the go home button is actually on there, you can beam to your home planet without having to fly there from any point. So that should be far easier to have a home base of operations while still leapfrogging around to other planets. Because before that was a bit inconvenient, so it was really more helpful to simply keep everything you might ever need on your ship. But that is no longer the case, and that should be very handy for people who want to build spectacular houses, because this is a little bit confining. There are plans, it has been written to expand and grow and augment and completely replace your ship, so you could get something that was nice and fancy and all that, but for the moment that is not actually implemented. So let us warp to the planet. Oh, okay. Hi, dude. Interesting. I've never actually landed in one of those before. So, ooh, very floaty planet, this. Poor monsters. And he dropped a sickle, which I think is not going to be very good, so I'm going to ignore it. And instead, place down my one-use distress beacon. Ah, there we go. It has a signal you can see because it's spinning now. So I'm going to use it. And we have summoned the boss, which I will try not to kill in one hit. Nope, killed it one hit. If I had allowed that to survive, what it would have done is it drops penguin commandos and penguin bombardiers and penguin grenadiers and whatever that fight you, and as it gets more damage it starts to let off little penguin UFOs and it shoots at you and slams at you, and if you go into that sort of thing unprepared, it will pretty much kick your ass and cost you all the materials you used to build the stress beacon. So it annoys me a little bit that the tutorial that tells you to build that thing comes immediately after teaching you how to smelt metal, and has no mention of the fact that you need to get really ready. Like, it tells you, you know, make sure you're ready for this. It doesn't tell you, if you don't have the highest tier armor for the area you're in right now, you're probably going to die instantly. So, maybe a bit of an oversight there. But otherwise, that then gives you the molten core item, which you can use to build the metal workshop, which is a secondary crafting bench, and from there you can build the upgrade to let you into the beta sector, which then you get the next boss, and the next tiers of armor, and the next weapons, and then you defeat that boss and get to the next one, and so on and so forth. So it's a very nice progression system, a little bit simple, but very straightforward. It takes only a little bit of grinding. It took me, I'd say it was like 4 hours on a single day. I pretty much powered through all the content. It really wasn't that bad. But, yeah. In the process, I did find some very cool things, such as my various weapons and all, but also my tech, which I will go through. Tech is something that you can take back to your ship and install on yourself. And currently, you can only have one at a time, but they have plans to eventually give you ways of using multiple techs at once, or activate multiple techs at once, but I will go through what I have here. I have Energy Dash, which if I double tap in a direction, does pretty much what you think. It's a dash. Super handy for getting across gaps and jumping up onto ledges if you have to jump out and then zoom back to them. Very, very handy for that. Then we also have the Pulse Jump, which again does what you'd think. Double jump. It's only one, so limited usefulness, but obviously double jumps are always going to be more useful than a regular jump. There's also the it's some sort of anti-gravity tech. I forget exactly what it's called, but basically what it does is it negates all effects of gravity on you and lets you float sideways as you will, but constantly drains energy as you use it, so very easy to quickly run out. I'm going to skip the third one for now and go straight to Butterfly Boost. This is my favorite tech of all time. If you jump in the air, and then press space again while pressing in a direction, you shoot along in this little butterfly bubble. And this does work vertically as well. And what this means is, if you have sufficient energy and energy regeneration, you can cross vast swaths of land all at once. Oh, I pissed these things off and we can't go real fast. And you never even have to touch the ground. That is the nice thing with this. But even better than that, if I let my energy regenerate here, and if I tap in a decent rhythm, and a decent speed, I can pretty much fly indefinitely. I pissed off a little cat bug thing. And, you know, this would eventually start tapping me down a little bit, but I can slow down and still make decent headway and regen fast enough. I could also let myself fall for a little bit and regenerate that last little bit of energy. And, yeah, so it's pretty darn easy to fly forever with this. Maybe that makes it a bit OP, but I find it just incredibly useful overall, so yeah, that's very fun. I would keep going until I hit the asteroids, but I tested this earlier. It takes like a minute and a half of straight flying to actually reach that, so what I'm going to do instead is make sure I don't die by doing this. Then I'll warp back down and show you the last tech I have here, which is another very fun one. They actually recently patched this so that these have a bit more of a description of what they do. They used to just be a name, and be sure to install this type thing. But yeah, you float around, and you double jump, and double tap, and press F, then destroy things. Let's see, I have to remember... Oh, there we go. Yes, bow before me, puny creatures. Now, unfortunately, this is the human mech. You don't get to see the halotl mech because they don't have that in yet. The human one is the only one that is currently implemented. But honestly, it's pretty friggin' awesome, so you can't complain too much. Its firing range is a little bit stilted. Oh, apparently I shot a bird. But that really doesn't matter because you can just keep moving. You're pretty darn tanky in this mode, and so, yeah, not much is really gonna mess with you. Oh, you didn't die. I've also got enough armor that I pretty much don't even get touched by the creatures of this area. And yeah, so there we go. And, ooh, lava? Yes, lava. And there is a melting debuff that pretty much gives you a delayed spike of damage, which is like this massive amount of damage. It's very not pleasant, so you want to avoid that. So yeah, lava has been made to be kind of deadly. It used to just be it would light you on fire, which really wasn't that bad. I mean, fire's pretty unpleasant, and if you're low level, it does tons of damage. But eventually, it just stopped being a threat, so they did buff that up a fair amount. As it is, I can't think of too much that I have that is specifically noteworthy to show. A lot of stuff is just kind of dependent on your own personal progression in the game, whether or not you will encounter certain things. Like, I don't want to show too much that will take away from the surprise of the game if you play it yourself. I'm going to keep flying on the planet and see if I can at least find one of the interesting settlements on the planet to show you, because I never did much exploring in my first playthrough. And of course the butterfly boost ability is going to come in very handy here. Oh, first of all, these. Okay, the one I got in my loading, I don't even know what that was going there. The one I got in my quick test game, I think healed me. But these have a variety of effects, such as making you glow, giving you speed boost, jump boost, that sort of thing. And there are several that will actually pretty much kill you outright. So be kind of careful with these. I'm not a big fan of them, but it looks like I got nothing from that one. Not sure why that is. But what the heck was that? Oh, it's like a cactus with a skull on it? A cactus. Okay. Another thing I never touched on very much was the descriptions in the game. Just... is this the following? There we go. If you press N, or the little magnifying glass over there, you will have your character describe objects. Bend nature to their will. Thatch roofing. And for certain things, it's actually very interesting. To be honest, the Helotl are actually one of my least favorite in terms of the descriptions thus far. They're very high and mighty. They apparently have a very beautiful civilization, and so they are trying to spread their beauty to the stars, and so they're kind of dicks that way, and no one seems to like them. But there is a personalized description, a race-specific description of nearly every decorative item in the game, as well as furniture and chests and beds and things like that. And aside from just being an impressive amount of work, I found that really interesting, and it makes it far more engaging to explore the planet when you get different information from doing so. So, highly recommend when you go around and find different settlements like this to kind of check out what your character has to say about it. Alright, I'm gonna continue on here. These little thatch hut things are sometimes the only thing on the planet, but other times they're a sign that the planet will have a larger settlement on it. Well then, while I'm here, let's analyze some things. Nature can be cruel, yes, because this is not just a campfire, not just a light, it's actually a little mini volcano. And anything interesting? Hope someone escaped from there. Well, it's broken. You might have. What's in here? Green stim packs. Okay, those improve your energy regen over a short amount of time. Wheat seeds, I've already seen what those do. Pickaxes. There are a lot of different, oh, jeez, dude. Calm down. There are a lot of different growable plants, by the way. I have actually filled multiple chests with the different kinds of seeds available. And, oh, interesting. A fun little note is that each race seems to have a plant or two that they are the only race capable of safely eating. Assuming there are not eventually some sort of abilities to negate those sorts of things, but there are a couple plants that are noted of it's usually only safe to eat these if you're avian in nature, it's only safe to eat these if you are plant-like, if you're a fish, or the genetically modified bananas that only the apex can eat safely. Chili peppers are apparently a little too hot for any race other than humans. So that's kind of fun that each race has their food that only they can eat. It's almost like you can stick your food in the fridge without having to put your name on it, because it'll kill anyone else who bothers to try stealing it from you. Anyway, I've hit this point in the video a couple times now, where I feel like I have nothing else to say, but I think at this point I have more or less covered not the entirety of this planet, obviously. I'm still encountering new things, but I've encountered most of what this planet has to offer, and I think I am really out of stuff to show. A lot of this game is sort of what you can experience on your own, the different dungeons and things you run into, the different towns you encounter. The NPC villages are honestly really fun. People have some fun things to say to you. The shopkeepers are kind of cool, how they will actually run back to their stall to show you what they have to buy if you try to interact with them when they're in their houses, or just talking with those people. Kind of aggravating. The guards will get kind of pissy at you if you have a weapon out, because, I mean, they're allowed to walk around with their weapons out. You're not actually swinging it at them, so I don't know. And it is unfortunately very, very simple to accidentally piss everyone off by swinging a weapon or other dangerous tool and kill someone in front of you, even though you meant to just click on something for another reason. So, NPC villages are a bit easy to ruin in that respect, so be a little bit careful, maybe. Anyway, it's late. I'm mostly doing this to keep myself awake, because oh sweet, it's a friendly little group, and apparently this one has something for sale. Oh yes, just food, not the seeds, just the food, and same, just the food. And ooh, they don't care if you come and steal their coal or their iron or their money that you could then give back to them. And because I am a cruel, horrible, evil fishman, they're dead now. And in fact, I think the other civilian ran off and died too. Yeah, that thing. Nature is indeed quite cruel. Anyway, I continue to look forward to the cool things this game has to offer. Gonna go check this out in my spare time and see if I can find the new things that have been added since the recent patch, and the things that were added in that were previously mods. Very excited to see how those ended up. But I hope you, if you have not already checked out this game, will consider looking into it, because it is very cool thus far, and it only seems like it's going to get even better as time goes on. See you next time, though.